ለመማር ወደ ትምህርት ተቋም መሄድ ግድ አይደለም።
ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ
ራሳችሁን ከኮሮና ቫይረስ ወረርሽኝ እየጠበቃችሁ በቤታችሁ ወይም በተመቻችሁ ቦታ
በኢንተርኔት አማካኝነት በኦንላይን ትምህርታችሁን መከታተል ይቻላል።
ካናዳ ከሚገኘው ኢንተርናሽናል ኤር ትራንስፖርት አሶሲዬሽን አያታና
ከእንግሊዙ ኢንስቲትዩት ኦፍ ኮመርሻል ማኔጅመንት ICM ጋር በመተባበር የሚሰጡ ትምህርቶችን ተከታትላችሁ በ6 ወር ጊዜ በዓለም አቀፍ ደረጃ ተቀባይነት ያለውን የስልጠና ማስረጃ ባለቤት መሆን ይቻላል።
ከኢትዮጵያ ሲቪል አቪዬሽን ባለስልጣን ሙሉ ዕውቅና ባገኘንባቸው የፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን እና የሆስተስ ስልጠናም በምዝገባ ላይ ነን።
ጥያቄና መልስ፣ የክፍል ስራዎች ብሎም ፈተና መፈተን ክፍል ውስጥ እንዳላችሁ አይነት
ልምድ ባላቸው መምህራን እየተማራችሁ
በኦንላይን ባላችሁበት ቦታ።
አድራሻ ከ22 ማዞሪያ ወደ ሾላ ገበያ በሚወስደው መንገድ 150 ሜትር ገባ ብሎ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ
የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ
ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።
So generally, the assignments, people gave it what it deserved, both the assignment 1 and the assignment 2. And the whole purpose of this assignment was just a way of making you think as to appreciate the course, which is management accounting, and the purpose why we study this course, because particularly question 1, assignment 1, was looking for application of management accounting area in relation to the different areas of organization. And now with regards to the manufacturing organization of your choice. If I recall, that is what the question was. I also, yesterday, I did send you some text. How are you finding them? Have you tried going through them? Any response? Are you with me?
Yes, we gone through.
Yes, sir.
We got it.
How do you find it?
It's good. It's a good for practice.
Said yes.
Yeah, it's good for practice.
Yes, and yes, and I'll be looking for some more, just to enhance your vision in this area and your understanding of this area. So I was saying the question 1 was basically testing you on the appreciation of management accounting function in a manufacturing organization, and how the function can be of use to many other functions of the organization, and what needs to be put in place for that purpose to be realized amicably. All right, things like talking about the realizing that you have to work with the other departments, other members of staff, is very important, so that we achieve a common goal. Issues to do with the timeliness of the information is very important, because we have to make decisions at the right time for the right purpose. And for us to do that, then whatever information you are getting through the management accounting process has to be, all right, it has to be, has to be timely. Now, this group from Mohammed says they had sent, and yes, just resend again. Probably it was an error on my end, and I know I was receiving so many of them. So probably I may have seen it and forgot to download. Just resend for the sake of it. Mosisa, you are sending it now. All right. That is, those are 2 groups. There is Admasu the Admasu group, and then Tengaya group. The email group have not sent the assignment 1. The Miller email. So please do so. Even if you had sent earlier on, just do so that I update my records as well. Good. Now, let me just share the screen on, just run through the assignment so that there are people who may have gotten something wrong or may not have understood some area or what they were supposed to do. I'm not yet through with the marking, but as soon as I'll be through, we shall discuss the way forward after that. Now, as you can see, briefly just talk about assignment 1. As I just said, it expected you to talk about management accounting and the purpose it's there for the other functions of the organization because they are critical. But the guidelines have to be there because for that information to meet its purpose of enabling the managers make informed decision, then we have to have some guidelines, and which I talk of making sure we get information in good time. Then the structures have to be there to enable this to succeed. Normally in making decisions like managers and using this information, we have to do some cost benefit analysis in most of these information reports that you're getting, like your given cost of different probably production lines, and you have to compare the benefits vis-a-vis the cost of having the production line. And then now you have to make informed decisions. So most cases, as you make use of the managerial accounting information as managers, then normally we use the cost benefit analysis or approach to make our decisions. Then the behavioral and technical considerations, as much as you're looking at the cost, we should also look at the people who are actually facilitating this. For example, the laborers, people who are working in the factory. What consideration are we giving them in terms of ensuring that we achieve our goals in terms of minimizing cost? How well can we utilize them? How efficiently can we utilize the staff? How can we motivate them so that they work towards achievement of our goal or objective? So different costs for different purposes. And this is the classification of costs. Costs have to be classified according to the intentions they have to meet. For example, fixed costs and variable costs, marginal cost and absorption cost and all these administrative costs, all these are, when they are classified in that manner, they enable managers make informed decisions with regard to the areas that they are supposed to make decisions about. For example, if it's related to the administration costs, all right? If it's related to production costs, then what kind of decisions do you have to make after looking at this data that you have been provided with? Then the structure and management accountants, so they have to be supported by the institution, by the management, and their work has to be realized and given emphasis so that they appreciate whatever they're doing as an organization to meet the overall goal of the organization. We have the professional ethics, which have also to be observed as they provide, and many other issues. So this was an open-ended question, and you could borrow even from your areas of specialization and link it to management accounting information. And that's why this question actually came after we had just introduced the course and talked about the key issues that are involved in management accounting. So it was just a question of applying management accounting issues to the various fields of organization, like strategic management, leadership, marketing, and many others, finance, and many others. So that is probably, it was an open-ended question. You could talk, and the question carried 25 marks. Was it 25 or 20, 25 marks? So it was an open-ended, and you are to discuss as much as you can. But I said you also check for the relevancy. Don't just fill up the pages, but you can be brief but precise to the point, all right? Which is appreciated in most of these examination areas. In assignment 2, all right, we talked about the question 1 was asking you to discuss the importance of cost accounting principles, methods, and techniques, and the managerial decision-making process, how they apply in managerial decision-making process. Now, you need to appreciate cost accounting as part and parcel of management accounting. And this is what we had actually talked about when we were introducing the cost accounting area of management accounting, because it is the one, it's actually the foundation of management accounting. It's the genesis of the cost and revenue information that enables the managers make decisions based on the costs and the revenues data that are provided. So cost accounting is one of the important disciplines of accountancy to give proper information required to the management for effectively discharging its functions, such as planning, organizing, controlling, directing, coordinating, and decision-making generally. So that's why cost accounting is there. This is a very important opening statement to address the question, because it has to start by appreciating what cost accounting is, and then relating it to managerial decision-making process. So this alone relates the two, because managers are there to do planning, are there to direct, are there to control. So they are to make decisions related to this function to make on a daily basis. So cost accounting serves the needs of management for effective control, determination of prices, making effective plan for future operations, and formulating various policy decisions. So again, you're further appreciating cost accounting, because we have also mentioned, apart from just the controlling, the, planning, and all those key functions of management, there are those ones that are actually directly related to the costing function, function of the organization. For example, helping managers formulate decisions, formulate policies that determination of prices, because we could not be able to determine prices of our products if we do not have the cost accounting function in place. Then every business firm is expected to make profit in the long run and keep costs within control. So most business, and you will have to agree with me that they are there to make profits. All businesses, all interested parties go into business for purpose of making profits. So So how do we make profits? One way of making profits is by minimizing the cost. So if you minimize the cost, because profit is a function of cost and revenues, isn't it? So if you minimize the cost, you will actually be upping your profits. And if you maximize the revenues, you'll still be upping your profit. So this is a critical function of cost accounting that helps managers in pricing and controlling of costs. This has made obligatory the keeping of cost records in some manufacturing companies and non-manufacturing operations. So there are those manufacturing organizations and non-manufacturing organizations, but they all embrace the cost accounting because of the purpose it offers to the managers for decision-making purposes. So you realize that it is very important that we have cost records, because that is the basis for making our decisions as managers. So it's an area that even service companies or service organizations, manufacturing organizations, and non-manufacturing organizations have embraced and have appreciated the purpose it serves the organization as a whole. Now, objective of cost accounting: ascertainment of cost, determination of selling price, cost control, and cost reduction. All right. Ascertainment of profit for each activity, assisting management in decision making, formulating business policy, matching costs with revenue. Then we have advantages of cost accounting to managers, because one of the key areas in the question that you've been given is the importance of cost accounting methods. Then we'll talk about methods, then we'll talk about techniques, and then in relation to decision-making process by managers. So the advantages to managers: cost accounting facilitates planning. It helps in formulating policies, useful in setting up objectives and standards of performance, facilitates cost comparison, leads to effective cost control, all right? Assists the management in decision, facilitates cost reduction, measures performance. So, and etc. There are many other ways cost accounting serves the management to enable them make such decisions that you have mentioned. Then the cost methods, costing methods, sometimes they are referred to as systems, the costing systems. These are the cost ascertainment. How do we determine the cost, for example, of a product, cost of a service, all right? So this is what we actually are expected to talk about. Different methods of costing for different industries depend upon the production activities and the nature of business. For this, costing methods can be grouped into two broad categories: job costing or specific order costing, and process costing. Now, job costing, the key difference between the two, job costing or specific costing and process costing, job costing is you cost the order as it comes, all right? You cost the order as it comes. And then process costing is like when you are manufacturing. So it has to go through different stages of production before you get the final product. Then we will have to apply the process costing. And then now there is the one that cuts between the two, where we have the activity-based costing. And after this, we'll briefly talk about it, because it's now the modern approach that most organizations are approaching among these others that we have. In job costing, costs are collected and accumulated according to jobs, contracts, products, or work orders. Each job is treated as a separate entity for the purpose of costing. For example, in printing, manufacturing furniture, furniture making, shipbuilding, because you have to come up with the costing depending on the order you've received. So you'll have to look at the specifications because different customers would want different specifications. So you cost according to the order that you get. So that is basically the job costing or specific order costing. Now, we can also classify this into contract costing, cost plus contract, and batch costing. So you can have contract, like you estimate the cost of a particular contract. For example, if it's construction of a road, you can determine the cost of constructing a full road, and that's a contract in itself because it has to have a starting point and the ending point. But process is continuous. You know, it has no ending point because you have to produce. You have to produce for us to get the final products that we can sell. Now, process costing, this costing method refers to the continuous operation or continuous processing costing. Process costing method is applicable where goods or services pass through different processes to be converted into finished goods. So process costing is used in cement industries, sugar industries, textile, chemicals, etc. Because we have to put together the raw materials and then we produce we have products, different products coming out of the raw materials. So it's a conversion process. So it is involved, there are so many stages that are involved before we get to the final product. So process costing is further divided into operation costing, operating costing, output costing, that is unit costing, and multiple costing. So we depending on different organizations, they can adopt any of these and what the operations are, so that they select the appropriate process costing method that may work with them. Now, activity-based costing. This costing in which costs begin with tracing of activities and then to producing the product. So every production process has activities that are attached to it. So what are these activities? We have to identify the activities that are attached to every production process. And then now we do the costing of these activities. So it is a process that involves which count towards costing of the final product that we have at the end of the day. So the system assumes that activities are responsible for the incurrence of costs and products created, and products creates the demand for activities, all right? So costs are charged to products based on individual products' use of each activity. So we look at each activity, what are the activities that have been involved for that product to be produced? Then we cost those activities, and we have to select some base of allocating the costing the activities and then allocating to the products. Now it aims at identifying as many costs as possible to be subsequently accounted as direct of production. Any cost that is traced to a particular product via its consumption of activity becomes direct cost of the product. For instance, in a conventional costing system, cost of setup and adjustment time is considered as a factory overhead and subsequently assigned to different products on the basis of direct labor hours. But in activity-based costing, setup and adjustment time is determined for each product and its costs are directly charged to each product. So this is the actually demonstrates the difference between the conventional method, which we have mentioned, like the job costing and the process costing. And now the activity costing tries as much as possible to cost the activities and then treat this cost as direct cost of production. Whereas those ones always will take those costs as the overheads. And most overheads are apportioned to the product, or some may be fixed for that matter. So ABC tries to ascertain the factors that cause each major activity, cost of such activities, and the relationship between activities and products produced. Now, stages in activity-based costing. The stages in activity-based costing, we have identify the different activities within the organization. So we must be able to identify the activities, relate the overhead cost to the activities, all right? What is the relationship between these activities and the overhead costs? Support activities are then spread across the primary activities, then determine the activity cost drivers, calculate the activity cost drivers rate, by taking the quantity of cost drivers used by each product. So those are stages of activity-based costing. You can read more about ABC costing just to appreciate what we are trying to talk about. So techniques of costing, there are different techniques of costing, and these techniques enable the decision-making process by the managers. And costing is the technique and process useful to allocation of expenditure, cost ascertainment, and cost control in order to fulfill the needs of the management. It supplies necessary information to the management. So we have uniform costing. The idea behind is that the different firms in an industry should adopt a common method of costing and apply uniformly the same principles and techniques for better cost comparison and common good. Different organizations or organizations that belong to certain industry can have a common way of costing. And because of that, they want probably to bring out some information that that is acceptable across the industry. So if you are a member of that industry and you are an organization, then you have to follow some certain principles whenever you are. So this is what we are talking about, and it's referred to as uniform costing, where the standards have to be observed. Some standards have to be observed, which are set by the industry. We have marginal costing. We talked about this. Aims at ascertaining marginal costs, determining the effect of changes in cost, volume, price, and furnishing the relevant data to the management for enabling it to take various management decisions by segregating total costs into variable and fixed costs. So this is marginal costing. We talked about it at length. And most of the decisions that we are going to make, for example, our next topic is CVP analysis. We are going to make use of marginal costing a lot and contribution costs. So this is actually an area that is important. The system that is important, where we have to identify the marginal costs against the sunk costs or the costs that are already or fixed costs that cannot. Marginal is the same as incremental costs. All right, the incremental costs. If you have to produce, if you are producing 10 bottles of water at this cost, what is the additional cost of producing the 11th water, a bottle of water. So those are now the costs that we look at, and again, the increase in the level of activity, or the additional one output, what is the incurred cost. Then we have the standard costing. Compare the standard cost of each product or service with actual cost to determine the efficiency of the operation so that any remedial action may be taken immediately. All right, we did this, and as part of the variance analysis, which you have to do as managers, and you must have the standard costing method or technique so that that can help the managers compare the performance and the budgeted figures. Then we have the historical costing, the ascertainment and recording of actual costs when or after they have been incurred. The actual costs refer to the material cost, labor cost, and overhead cost. So this actually now the actual costs that we are talking about, because they have already been incurred. And once you have the actual costs, which may be the historical cost, together with the standard cost, then you can always find the variance and do the analysis of that variance. Absorption costing or full costing takes into account charging of all costs, both variable and fixed costs, to operation, processed, or products or service. So this is one way of ensuring that it enhances the pricing model of the products, because if you can allocate all costs, fixed as well as variable, on a particular product, then whatever price you're coming up with has taken into account all the costs that have been incurred towards the production of that particular product. Now, before I go to question 2, I just want to hear from you if there are any comments about, because those were more theoretical. Question 2 of the assignment 2 was practical, and you needed to do some calculation. Are there any comments or views about the questions, the 2 questions, question 1 and assignment 1, question 1, and question 1, assignment 2? Any comment? Yes. This is Bekele. Bekele, yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. I think regarding question 2, assignment number 2.
Yes.
The way we addressed the question, we understood it was different. We didn't go back to what these techniques, methods are. We only focused on what their benefits is on making management decisions. I think the way we addressed it was different. We focused on their importance to the management decision making. What importance do they have? Yes. We didn't explain what they are. Okay. We consider it. I personally consider the question this way. It only required us to address their importance and benefits, not what they are. But the way you addressed it is just what they are, then what their benefit is.
Yes.
We differ in that way, I think.
Yeah, but do you see the sense of what I'm trying to put across? It's a learning process.
Yes.
Yes. It's a learning process. Yeah. So when you talk about the techniques and methods, it's actually important to even mention them. All right. So that as you are now talking about the importance they have to managers' decision making, then the reader can always know what you're talking about. What techniques are you referring to? What methods are you referring to? Okay.
Yes, Doctor. I understand your way.
Yeah. Yes.
just to address how we felt it. Yes, I appreciate that.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm not saying that you're going to fail.
No. That's not a fail and pass issue. The way we understand it.
Okay. I'm sure you're not the only one, because the ones I've been going through as I was doing some marking, I saw that didn't come out clearly as you're putting it. But as we said from the word beginning, this is not the end. We are still learning, isn't it? So it is just to make you open up your thinking whenever you get such a question.
Hello, Doctor.
Good. Solomon? Yes.
Yeah. According to our assignment, we have to do. We are focusing one company is choice. After that, how to going to within the managerial accounting, the process, how to cost is to be cost is list out. Yes. How can manage it? How to deliver the service? All these things are we have to list out, not like you have to define and list out. We are considering to the our choice companies.
Yes.
We have to put recommendations and suggestions for that company.
That is assignment 1.
Yeah.
Yes, that one was open, open, and you could relate it to your area, your own area of specialization. It was not that specific. As long as you identify the guideline, all right, then you could apply it in your own way, all right? Yeah. But the guidelines, okay, the key thing here, we are assuming we are in a manufacturing setup, isn't it?
Yes.
The reason why I gave it as a manufacturing setup so that you can have a wide range of applications you can talk about. You know,
we're going to surveys. Also, we have to take a survey from the company, you know?
Yes, a survey.
Yeah, a survey.
Okay, what do you mean? I don't know. I don't understand. Survey. Solomon, you are muted.
Okay. May I go on, sir?
Okay. Our preparation on the assignment.
Yes.
Yeah. We are going to the choice. First of all, we have to choose the company. After that, we have to take a survey from the leaders of the company.
Yes.
After that, we have to arrange with according to our lessons of this managerial accounting. After that, we have to conclusions, recommendations. So we have listed out by this method. Is there a problem? I say that.
No, there's no problem. There's no problem. That's why I'm saying this. It's actually the bottom line of this question was just to test your understanding and appreciation of management accounting function in an organization.
Thank you.
So you are not away from the truth. That is just, it was just testing. You know, you cannot have a marking scheme for that, right? But the thing is what you're looking at, something relevant to managerial accounting function. All right. So I think you're all correct. You're all correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Therefore, no more. Therefore, as the question asks us to discuss about the guidelines, the management accounting guidelines, as well as the processes and the influence of this or using these processes, the influence towards the organization, any manufacturing organization of it says any manufacturing organization of your choice. We check an organization, for example, in our case, a cement factory organization.
Yes.
What practices they do take into consideration so that they can take any kind of advantage to their decision-making process. We are focusing to that one. Therefore, such kind of practices, especially these calculations, were not taken into consideration in our discussion, as they have already stated. Therefore, just we are taking lessons in this case, but these lessons will be useful to all of us, but in our discussion, this was not mentioned. Saying this one, thank you.
I think I agree with you. I agree with you. You see now, when the question was talking about manufacturing company of your choice, first of all, I have to look at what organization are you talking about. If you are talking about a service organization, then you are off the line. All right. So this were just the guidelines of what choice of organization you should go for. You don't just go for any organization. For example, a service organization, and then now you claim to be talking about these things in relation to the managerial accounting. I'm not saying that managerial accounting is only applicable in manufacturing organization, but the question specified you on that. About cement manufacturing organization, that is a manufacturing organization. So if you showed how the processes in that organization take advantage of management accounting information, then that is you're doing the right thing. That's precisely what I'm talking about. That's why I said that question is open-ended, and even among those lists I gave ETC, meaning you can even talk about others so long as you can show the connection or the appreciation of management accounting by looking at that particular process. So Tescafiro, I think that is okay. That's okay.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah. Any other comment? Bekele, you're done. We can lower your hand. Solomon as well, I can lower your hand. So there's no other question. So I want us now to go to question 2 and 3 of the assignment 2, and that will involve some calculation. Did you have any issues in those questions? I saw many of you got the question. Probably you need to point out if there are any critical issues that you do not understand before we rush through it. Okay, so allow me just to go through it, and majority of you got it right. Now, this company is using the account analysis approach to identify the behavior of production costs for a month in which it produced 350 units. The production manager was asked to review these costs and provide her best guess as to how they should be categorized. She responded with the following information. Now, we have been given the cost data for these 350 units that were produced. We have the total cost, we have the variable cost, and we have the fixed cost. Now, for material usage used in production, we have a total cost of 270, variable cost of 270. Material is normally variable. And then we have direct cost, direct labor cost. We have 134 total, and 130 is variable, 4,000 is fixed. Production facility costs, we have 103,000 as total, made up of variable cost of 100,000 and fixed cost of 3,000. So you are required to describe the production cost in the equation form y is equals to f plus vx. And I'm sure we all know or understand this cost estimation formula. And then now you've been asked to assume the company intends to produce 400 units in the following month. We need to calculate the total cost of production of the 4 units for that particular month. Now, we've been given the total cost in terms of material, labor, and production overhead. So first of all, we need to get our total variable cost. So our total variable cost, so the function is y is equals to f plus vx. So our total cost is 270 plus 134 plus 103, giving us 547. And then our variable cost is actually 270 plus 130 plus 100, giving us, and then our fixed cost is 4,000 plus 3,000, giving us 7,000. Then our variable cost is, our total variable cost is, now I have to share the, I was told I should use this. Let me try using it. I hope it will be. Now our variable cost, our total cost function is y is equals to f. Are you seeing what I'm drawing? F plus Vx. F plus Vx. Now, our V, we are saying, is equals to the variable cost per unit, which is our total variable cost. Our total variable cost is 270 the figures are in thousands plus 130 plus 100. I'm poor at writing with this. So this will give us, I need to erase this. This is equals to, when you add the two, 270 plus 270 plus 130 plus 100, you get 500.
$400, yeah. Oh.
Hello? 500. So 500, yeah, divide by 350. 350 is the number of units that we produced during that year. So what do you get? When you divide 500, divide by 350, you get 1.442.
8.
Now there is 87.
Yeah.
So we round it off to 9. We round it off to 9, right? At least 3 decimal places is okay. So these are now, this is the variable cost per unit of our product. So we've got V already. Now F is equals to, according to what you've been given, is 4,000 plus 3,000, giving us 7,000. 7,000. I'm not writing all the zeros, but take these figures with zeros. They are thousands, as you've been given. So therefore, our equation will be y is equals to F is 7,000 plus our V is 1.429 times X. Okay, so that is our final function that we derive out of the information that we've been given. So we have utilized the data that we have, which is historical, all right? And then now we want to use this to project our future cost for producing 400 units. So we just substitute for X so that we can get our total Y. So Y is equals to, this is now B, this was A. So Y is equals to 7,000 plus 1.429 times, so you can put in a bracket 400, meaning you are multiplying. So when you multiply that, you see now, this is where now some students make a mistake. It's not adding this, you don't add 7,000 to 1.429. You remember BODMAS, yeah? Always apply BODMAS. What does BODMAS mean? Who can tell us?
Bracket.
Bracket
Multiplication.
of, huh?
Multiplication.
Bracket, yes, Solomon.
Bracket of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction.
Good. Bracket of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Now here we have addition and multiplication. Which one should come first? Multiplication, isn't it? Because multiplication comes before A. So you have to work out this first before you add to this. Right? This is what I realized some students were making mistakes by, you add this and then you multiply by this, you'll get it wrong. All right? So we have to multiply, so we are saying this is equals to 7,000 plus, now you multiply that to get a figure, 1.429 times 400. It will give you 571.6. Okay? So our Y will be, now you can add, now you can add 7,000 so that you get, of course, the figures are in pounds, dollars, sorry. So it's 7,571.6. So that is now our answer for part B. And I saw majority of you got it. So what I wanted to show you clearly is the BODMAS. You may know the formula, but when it comes to working out the figures that you have substituted in your formula, if you go wrong, then you'll get a wrong answer. Okay, so always follow this. Whenever you have brackets, open the brackets first. All right. So bracket is just like multiplication. So when you have a multiplication, deal with the multiplication first. And then now go to the addition and subtraction. So you add first and then you subtract last. So opening the bracket first is what is important. I hope I'm clear on that.
Doctor, I have a question here.
Yes, yes.
This is Shimelis.
Yes.
In related with the variable costs, the cost is
Yes.
we should have to apply. We should have to multiply it by thousands because the amount is it's about 270,000 plus 130,000. We omit 2 zeros or the word thousand, so we should have to multiply by thousands. Then the value will come 1,429. I think so, like that.
You said you added 270,000, yes?
270,000.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm ignoring the 3 zeros, eh? So this will give us 500,000.
So the final answer maybe change it.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that one is
500. Are you agreeing with me?
Now I'm agreeing with you. Then this will be changed.
This
into
one?
Into 1,429.
Really?
Yeah, sure. Even it's not the 1,420.
When we divide 500,000 by 350 units, what do you get?
Yeah, it goes.
You don't get
It
this?
goes to 1,428 point something like that. It's not 9 even.
Oh, yeah.
Doctor.
Okay.
Can I come in?
Huh?
Can I come in, doctor?
Yes.
Even after concluding this issue, we can see what my friend has said is correct. For producing 350 units, doctor, the price was, the total cost was 507. For producing 400 units, it couldn't be 7,571.
I'm agreeing with him. Thank you for bringing that up. We know the 3 zeros.
Yes, if we didn't omit that one, the result will be changed to 507,000, I think.
So it is
around 507,000.
No, 1,000.
No, not point. 400.
1,429.
429.
No, the answer will be changed.
Very good. Yes. So this one. Oh yeah. So this one, it is not point, but it is a 1,429. So same to this. 1,429.
9.57, yeah.
0.57. You want us to include that? Okay.
Yeah.
0.57.
Yeah, 57.
0.57. So to here 0.57. Now I have to erase this. I have to also probably erase
Doctor,
this.
we rounded the 0.57 to 29. It was 1,428.57. We rounded it to 29.
Yeah.
It's 29.
So if you are maintaining 0.57, then we don't round it. We say 28.
Yes, doctor.
Thank you for bringing that up. You see, even doctors can make mistakes. It's a learning process. So it is 28. 28.57. 0.57. So it's 28. 0.57. $28.57. So when you multiply, so this one will actually go, this one will go same to this. So that we have, so we are multiplying this by 400, bracket 400. 400 units. So when you multiply 1,428.57 times 400, what do you get?
500.
You get
571,000.
571,000.
No, 428.
428.
Yeah.
Thank you. So when you add the two, you get plus 7,000.
578,000.
578,000.
428.
428.
Yeah.
Good. So this is what you should have gotten. Thank you for that correction. I think it was worth it. Any other comment? Yes? Shimelis, are you talking?
No, I'm not talking. It's clear all.
Okay. So we can, I think we can now move to question 2 of the same. Let me just,
Sure.
So this one, actually, it's wrong. There was this is not 1 point whatever. It's supposed to be 1,000. So I'll correct that. But that was question 2. Question 3. Company reported the following production costs for 6 months, January 2019. So we have the months, January up to June, and the production costs, total production costs, and the units produced. Then using the information given, perform the 4 steps of the high-low method to estimate costs and state your results in cost equation form. Y is equals to F plus Vx. So we are asked to use the high-low and then to assume 400 units to be produced in the month of July. So we have to use our function to project for July total cost. Then the weaknesses, of course, the weaknesses, those ones were direct. You could talk about only looking at the 2 points instead of all the data points. So we have, just looking at this, we need to detect which are the high level. But remember, we said the level of activity, not the high cost, but the level of activity. So if I check in my units produced, the highest is 450. 450 is the highest. And the total cost against the highest is 700,000. The lowest is 150. 150. The corresponding total cost is 250. So what do we do to determine our F function? Now, let's go to our whiteboard. So again, Y is equals to F F plus Vx. Now, our high level of activity, we have to identify that. And we have seen our units. We have 450 units. And cost is 700,000. For low, we had number of units were 150, and the cost was 250.
Yeah.
Now, we already know that F stands for fixed cost, V stands for variable cost per unit, and X is the number of units produced. So we need to get the slope. By getting the difference. So when you get the difference between 450 and 150, you get 0, you get 3. And here it is 0, 0, 5, 6, 4. So our units are 3, the difference 300, and the cost difference is 450. So to get our V, we divide. We take 450,000 divide by 300, which will give us, when you divide that, what do you get?
1,500.
1,000?
500.
1,500. 1,500. So that is our V. So we can use this V to determine our F, because F is the fixed cost, total fixed cost, which we want now to determine after we've gotten our V. And by doing that, we only substitute in any of the above either high or low figures. So let's use the high figures. Now with the V being 1,500, so our F is equals to, first of all, let's substitute in our equation first so that we see where we're coming from. Our Y is equals to, so assuming Y is 700, because we are using the high data, high 700 is equals to F, which is the unknown, plus This is the V, 1,500. The V we have found here times the units are 450 for high. So this will give us so BODMAS again, multiply this first, then you add to F. Uh, 1,500 times 450, it will give us 675,000. So this equals to F plus 675,000. So 700,000 is equals to F plus 675,000. So what is F? So F is equals to 700,000. 700,000 minus 675,000, which will give us what?
25,000.
25,000.
25,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
25,000. So that is our F. So our final equation is Y. Our function is Y is equals to 25,000. 25,000 plus 1,500
times 400.
X.
Yeah.
So that is the function. That is part A of the question.
Yes.
Okay. Part A of the question. So now for part B, we've been asked if we intend to produce 400, what would be our total cost? So we substitute. Okay. Let me just erase this. So that is B. For 400 units, so Y is equals to F plus Vx. So therefore, Y would be equals to 250. So 25,000, sorry, plus 1,500 into 400. So this will be 25 plus when you multiply this, what do you get?
625,000. 600,000.
600,000.
Yeah.
600,000.
625,000.
So our total cost for 400 units would be 625,000. So that should be our answer for part B. Any question, comment? I hope for that one we are right. We did not make a mistake somewhere. Question? Okay, so I think many of you got this. It was very direct. And we're just testing on how we can apply how we can derive the function from the data given. And of course, there are other methods other than the high-low method, which you can use and which we had discussed earlier on, like the scatter graph method, the regression method, which and then the cost. The other one is called what? The cost. The other one, the first one, the accountant's method, where they use the historical data to come up with the projection. So it's based on the experience and all the others. So if no question, then we can proceed. So as we had agreed, those ones who have not submitted, do submit. What do you want me to do with the assignment? Do I have to return? I think we have done the correction, so I'll just have to grade and then store the marks. So probably if you want the marks, you can always access it at your own free time. But for now, I want us to look at the illustrations that I sent you yesterday to do with the variance analysis, the costing, the variance analysis, and the budgets. So I just want us to use the remaining time to run through probably 1 or 2 questions so that the rest we can go through tomorrow. Now, illustration 1. This is just revision of what we did last weekend. And we just want to see how we can apply some of these things that we've been learning, particularly with the area of cost, budgets, and variance analysis, using different illustrations. So assume the materials contained in assembly of 1 unit of product are XR. So we have 3 brackets at that rate, 30 screws at that rate, and 6 pulleys at that rate. What is the expected variable cost of materials for producing 40 units? Expected variable cost for material for producing 40 units. Now we have the bracket 3 at 125 each. We have 30 at 0.02 each. We have 6 at 0.67. So we are asked to determine the V, the variable cost. Okay, so now let me share the whiteboard for the sake of us following what you are doing. Now, total variable cost. Total variable cost is equals to cost is equals to rate times not rate. Is equals to quantity quantity times rate. So how do we know the quantity, and we've been given the rates for each quantity, how it was used. So for this case, our V will be equals to times the rate for each 25 we add 30 times 0.02 plus 6 times 0.67. So this always, when you have such a function, you always apply the body mass, and you can see we have brackets, so you have to open the brackets first, and brackets means you multiply the figures first. So this will be equals to 3 times 1.25 is equals to 3.75 plus
75.
that is 30 times 0.02, 0.6, yeah?
0.6. 0.6.
0.6 plus 6 times 0.06, 6 times 0.67, 4.02.
4.0.
Okay, so when you add this, what do you get? 3.75 plus 0.6 plus
8.37. 8.37.
8.37. So that is our total variable cost. Now you are asked to determine for 40 units. What is the expected variable cost for materials for 40 units? So variable cost, V for 40 units. Is given as Vx. Remember in our function, which is equals to 8.37 times 40 33 0.8. So these are pounds, dollars. So this is actually our cost for 40 units, our variable cost for 40 units. A variable cost for 40 units. We are only, if you recall in our equation where we had y is equals to f plus dx, so our interest was here. All right, so this is what we are looking for. Of course, we are not interested in the fixed cost, and neither the total cost, which is variable cost plus fixed cost, but we are only interested in this. So we can derive this by getting the variable cost per unit times the units produced, which is 40, to get our total variable cost. Any comment? Okay, we can look at question 2. Home health care budget includes the following. We have direct cost of 400,000. We have indirect cost of 96,000. And then we have direct labor, which is a professional, of 16,000. So what is the budgeted direct labor cost? Budgeted direct labor cost. What is the budgeted indirect labor cost? Budgeted indirect labor cost. And then a patient uses 25 direct labor hours, assuming no other direct costs. What is the cost of health? So 25 hours. So as you can see, direct labor cost rate is equals to total direct labor cost over total labor hours. And then indirect cost rate is total indirect cost divided by total direct labor hours which is 96, and then 16, the indirect cost, the direct labor cost per hour used times direct labor cost rate. So the hours is 25 times 25, which is now the direct labor rate cost rate, to get our 625, and then the indirect cost hours used times indirect cost rate, that is 25 times 6, which is 150, the total cost of health, whatever. So you just apply the rate times the hours that you've computed, and then you finally add the totals to get your total cost of healthcare for 25 hours a patient. Now, going back to the board, so here the direct cost, our basis for allocation is the direct labor hours, is the direct labor cost. That's why we are dividing by 16 to get our rates. Okay. Just excuse me. All right. Sorry, I'm back. So let me project the board so that we see. Now, direct cost total is 400. Indirect cost total is 96. And then direct labor cost is 16,000. So what is our rates for each? We have to use the base. The base that we have to use is the direct labor. The professional direct labor hours. These are hours, not pounds. I think this is a mistake. Not dollars. These are hours. These are hours. The cost is 400,000, but these are the total hours. So we use the total hours. So these are hours. Hello? Are you with me? Are you with me?
Yes, Doctor.
Thank you.
Direct labor rate is equals to 400,000 divided by the 16 hours. So direct labor hours is now the basis of apportionment that you're using. So when you divide that, you get 400,000 divided by 16. So our rate is 25. And then indirect cost, our rate is 96,000 divided by 16,000, which is it? Six, huh? Which is 6. So this is the rate per unit of the indirect cost, and this is the rate per unit of direct cost. This is indirect and this is direct. Direct rate, and this is indirect rate, indirect cost rate. Indirect cost rate. So 6. Now, so we found the rate part A and part B. Now let's look at the direct cost. Okay, we've got that. We've got that. Number B, for the budgeted indirect cost rate. Suppose a patient uses 25 direct labor hours, assuming no other direct costs. What is the cost of home care? All right. So number 3, direct labor cost, hours used times direct labor cost rate, 25 times 25, and then indirect cost is 25 times 6, and then total cost is you add the 2 to get our cost for the healthcare. Now, for 25 hours, direct cost is equals to 25, which is now the rate, times the hours, which is 25, and this gives us 25 times 25, 625, $625. For indirect cost, at 25 is equals to 6, the rate times 25 hours. So 25 times 6 give us 150.
50.
Is it 150?
Yes.
Okay. So total cost for the patient $625 plus 150 which will give us $25. So so we can use also the costing that we have, the total costing that we have, and the hours to determine the rate. All right, the hours which we have seen the total hours to achieve this cost, so we can get a rate out of that. And using the hours being the basis for apportionment. So the rates are for each cost, and then now, if you know the hours that you spend on a particular patient, then you multiply by the rate to get the total cost. So for each, and then you add to get our total cost of the patient. Any comment, question? All right. Question 3 is too demanding. I am sure it has a lot. Hello? Are you with me?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor.
Yes.
Any question? Any question?
No issues.
Still yes,
So, such question coming in the exam, you'll score 20 out of 20? Yeah? Bekele, will you score 20 out of 20?
Yes, hopefully, yes.
We will try our best.
You'll try?
We will try
that's
our
good.
best.
You'll try your best.
Yes.
Yeah. So all you need to do is practice. I'm sure some of the textbook I sent you, there are areas you can try doing a question on your own, and then there are solutions also given. Okay. And it's good for practice. Now, so the question 3, we shall look at the question 3 tomorrow. It is too demanding. We have to compute the I don't know how many illustrations there are. I gave you how many? There are 2, 3, there are 4. So we shall look at 3 and 4 tomorrow. And then there's a question where you're supposed to practice on your own. You can do it at your own free time, not for submission, but just for your own practice, and see how you can make what you can make out of it. But you can try that after we've looked at the following 2 questions. All right, so any comment? Johannes, yes? Any suggestion, comment, question? Any clarification?
It's all clear for me.
Are we tired? Huh? Are we tired?
Not yet, Doc.
Okay, so I think let's think through whatever we have discussed today. Tomorrow we'll look at the last 2 questions, and then after that we shall introduce the CVP analysis, and that is our last topic. And then after that, time allowing, we'll do some touch on some areas that just as a way of revision. of what we are expected to cover. But basically, we shall have covered all the necessary topics that we are supposed to cover for this particular course, according to the outline I had sent you. All right. If no comment, no question, I want to wish you a good evening. And let's meet tomorrow at 10:30, as usual.